Hi CCC members, this is John. I wanted to take a few minutes and get back in touch with you about some things we talked about back in April, the last time we were all together at our annual gathering. If you recall, at that gathering, we asked all of our members to help us identify what were the most critical areas, the top areas that they saw that needed attention here at CCC. One of those areas at the top was our Discipleship Pathway. You might be wondering, what's our Discipleship Pathway? That's the reason it needs attention. So about 3 years ago, we had worked on identifying a pathway or steps, if you will, for people who come here to CCC. We know everybody's journey is not linear, but we had to lay something out to say, this is how we're helping men and women and students become more like Jesus, devote their lives to Jesus. Actually, as our members identified this, we as a staff had also identified this. Because even though we created this 3 years ago, COVID then hit and it got put on the shelf. And so we pulled it out earlier this spring and we said, let's re-examine this. So we went back to the scriptures and said, what are the key priorities in the life of a disciple? What would you see? What would you know to be true of someone who's a disciple of Jesus? Then we looked at books and videos and interviewed a few other individuals. And we as a staff of pastors and directors have been meeting on Tuesday mornings or Tuesday at lunchtime to look at this, to study this, to review this over really all summer and then throughout this fall. And so we took these characteristics of a disciple, we laid them over top of our current pathway, which was connecting to God, to others, and to our world. That may sound a little familiar. And we said, where are the gaps? What's missing? And one of the things we recognize is true of a disciple of Jesus is they not only become a disciple and they follow Jesus, but then they turn around and disciple others. So they multiply disciples. And we realize that's one critical component that we don't even think about in the process of helping men and women students become more like Jesus. And so that's just one area that we recognize needs attention. So you might ask the question, so what are we doing with that now? Well, what we're doing with this now as a staff, we're fine-tuning it. We're looking at all of our areas of ministry, kids ministry, student ministry, adult ministry that Roddy's going to talk about in just a few minutes. And we're saying, how are we doing in each of those areas? And we'll be reviewing this with our elders and our ministry leaders and then bringing this back to you the next time we meet together to review this. This is not something that we're going to bring top down to the whole church. It's something we believe that has to be organic and come from the bottom up. That at a leadership level and a ministry leader level and then at a volunteer level, we all grow and are committed to becoming disciples of Jesus and multiplying disciples of Jesus. One other area that you had highlighted was our local outreach, and I want to tell you what is happening in that area. Jeremy is actually stepping into oversight of that area, and he's going to be leading the charge. And one of the areas, things that we have been doing, even though COVID was still happening, was our grocery giveaway. You may recall that we started out with 25 boxes, and now we're up to over 100, and we'll be purchasing more of those the next time we do this. But Jeremy has taken over leadership of that, and we're looking for key volunteers that can lead this ministry moving forward on a regular basis. The other local outreach that got put on hold because of COVID was the Cocalico Project. You may have heard, if you live in this community, about the Ephrata Project or the Warwick Project. They're in partnership with an organization called Love Inc. And what they do is they help us identify people in our community who need light maintenance or maybe some light landscape or some cleaning that's done. And then they will give us those names, and then we will put teams of people together this summer for a week during the summer, and that team will then serve that home or that family to accomplish that project. This could be your small group. It could be a group of ladies, group of men, group of our students that can work together. And so we're anticipating a number of these projects that will come our direction. We hope in the future to offer this to the entire Cocalico community. We're initially going to start with the Reinholds area and have our church serve. And as we expand into the entire community, we anticipate the potential of being a hub church to organize other churches in our community to serve in this way as well. The last local outreach focus is revitalizing Reinholds. Obviously, our church is in Reinholds. We know not everybody lives in Reinholds, but we live in our churches in Reinholds. And so the first thing that we want to do is pay attention close to home. Jesus said, I want you to go and make disciples. And where's the first place he said? In Jerusalem. That's where the church was located at that time. And then it spread out to Judea and Samaria, and then eventually into the ends of the earth. And so we want to pay attention to where we are right away. And so pre-COVID, we met with a group of business leaders, some local area pastors, and we said, what are the needs in this community? How can we serve this community? And then everything got put on hold. And we anticipate, after we get through the holidays, the beginning of this new year, reconvening that group. Business owners in the community of Reinhold's, civic leaders in the community of Reinhold's, church leaders in the community of Reinhold's, and say, how can we make a difference in this community? And our goal is to be able to show them the love of Christ so that we can share with them the love of Christ. So that's what we're doing in several of those areas that you highlight, the Discipleship Pathway and our local outreach. Now, Roddy's going to share what we are focusing on in the area of men's and women's ministries.
Hi, this is Roddy. I just wanted to give you a quick update about some things that are taking place here in some of the adult discipleship areas here at the church. We were able to launch our men's discipleship group. We've been working through the book of 1 Timothy. We've been meeting on Tuesday nights. It's still not too late to get involved in that, although we're only going to be meeting up until right up until Thanksgiving, but we're going to be starting back up next year with that study moving forward. Also, we have a women's study that's taking place on Wednesday mornings. They've been working through a book together, a Silence and Solitude book, looking at the spiritual disciplines. I know that it's been a good, encouraging study for the women that are involved there. We've also been looking at getting our toddler gym back open. That's an opportunity for moms who have little preschoolers to bring them into the gymnasium and let them run around and connect with other women and just be able to connect together and build some relationships there. We have more that's coming, and we're really glad that we're able to get things back moving forward. Thanks so much for paying attention.